Hey everyone, welcome to Gilded Reviews. Today we are going to be taking a look at another early access title that is currently in development called Cash Crop, a new farming simulator that focuses on the growing, management, and selling of pot. Now this game is very new, and at the time of this writing not much is available for a review. So rather than an in-depth look at the gameplay, we will focus on the mechanics and the overall potential of the game, including some promised updates from the developers and some of my personal thoughts on the direction the game is going. Now before we get into any gameplay, I think it's really important to talk about the controversy following Cash Crop and its lead designer Grant Williams. Grant Williams is the CEO for a company called Red Level Games. Red Level Games is the creator of Dragon the Game, an early access title that supporters and fans felt was abandoned. Dragon the Game was an extremely ambitious project, especially for such a small studio. So after a few years of development, it seemed like Dragon was never going to get completed. There were few updates with even less communication from Red Level Games, so a lot of people just felt like it was an early access cash grab. Supporters of Dragon are upset, and I think they have the right to be. They feel that Grant Williams took their money, handed them an incomplete game, and left to start a new project. In response to this, Grant Williams released a vlog explaining what happened and what the future holds for Dragon. I will leave a link in the description if you're curious about what he has to say, but the rundown basically is, Dragon didn't ever have enough money or generate enough money to hire the people needed to develop the game on the software side. So essentially Grant was soloing the software development of a game where he was the lead designer. This led to very slow and oftentimes buggy updates. Meanwhile, a local software developer called Wildland was looking to break into the indie game scene and wanted Grant's talents and love for games on their project. During the development of Cash Crop, he would be able to continue work on Dragon, albeit on his own time. Now, if Cash Crop is successful, it would open up more doors for him to get the help needed to complete Dragon. He also promises to open up more lines of communication while continuing to work on both projects. I actually believe him. I have seen studios do this before, especially with a game that hasn't generated a lot of money. The only issue I see is his lack of communication. If he were to have communicated this to his early adopters, the backlash would probably not have been as bad. I think people who buy early access games understand that a lot of them are being developed by one or two people. And as long as people know what's going on, they really don't mind waiting. Now, what does this mean for the game that I'm actually looking at? Well, first off, my view is simple: all good things. His previous issues were with finding software developers and producing timely updates. Well, Wildlands is a software development company that is handling both the software and the project management. This should be great for both Grant Williams and Cash Crop. The community can be assured of decent communication from the Wildlands side, and Cash Crop gets a passionate designer that can actually focus on designing. So at this point, things don't feel too shady. As for the game itself, well, it's still really early. The overall gameplay is really what you would expect. You spend most of your day taking care of weed, and when it's fully grown, you cut it down and sell it. They seem to have made caring for the plants really the main concern of the game. You don't just water once a day or give nutrients once a week. You need to stay and watch every plant and make sure the water and nutrients are at the appropriate levels. Unfortunately, every strain requires a different amount of water, making the game even harder. While I do see the appeal here, it is a weed growing game and not all strains require the same attention. But unfortunately, I think that makes the game more monotonous. Since the release of the game, there has been a few balancing updates that have made watering easier, at least for the starting plants. Unfortunately, the late game plants are still rough. There also is some semblance of a crew system. This does seem like a necessary item, but unfortunately the current system really needs to be reworked. Currently, they just cost money to spin in circles and cut down finished plants. They rarely will help with watering or nutrients, and you most certainly cannot count on them to watch over a plot of plants. When the crew system gets reworked, the game will be a lot more enjoyable. The quest system needs some work as well. The system is in place, but can still be fairly buggy. Not much in this game sucks more than accepting the heat for a mission, only to have a bug prevent you from getting paid. The heat is another issue I've had. I do understand why it's in this game, but currently the DEA just shows up and takes money away. The amount is based on your heat. You can lower your heat by paying someone through your crew tree, or by doing missions for the DEA. And while all this seems like a normal type of mechanic, I still think it feels broken. At one point, I had 48 plants, which is way over my allotted 10. The DEA showed up and just took some money and left. Right after, I just cut my plants down and made 10 times the money back. The game could have easily killed most of my plants or just shut down my whole farm for a week. Right now, it just feels like a bribe, which I can already do to lower my heat. I don't know, I think the system just needs more work. I feel like they just rushed to early access, which can really be a big problem for some games. With all that, the future, however, does look bright for Cash Crop, with promised plans from Wildland for custom plant genetics, extra farm strain designing, and indoor planting. The community is also more than welcome to pitch in any ideas that seem to fit with the genre, and the developers seem interested and are responding to these suggestions, which is a great sign. They have also started a community discussion asking what we feel would be best to put in the game next. And while all this is nice, it really doesn't change the basic gameplay of the game. So hopefully they work on the old stuff as well as continue to bring updates to the table. If not, this game will crash. Even though you can water your plants and successfully cut them, sell them, and complete most missions, there's still just something missing. Better artificial intelligence and a simplified growing system would go a long way to create a more enjoyable experience. I am sure this game will get better with updates, but unless you want to support the developer without much in the way of gameplay, right now I can't recommend this title. There is a lot of work to be done, but the foundation is there. If Cash Crop releases significant updates that not only improve the previously released gameplay, but focus on new content, then they might have a chance. The communication they already have established with their community is especially important. If they keep that up and release new content, Cash Crop might just become that massive THC tycoon game we all wanted. If you guys want to see more from Cash Crop, especially after they release new updates, let me know in the comments. We are a new channel, just trying to get some reviews and other game videos out there. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, it really helps us out. Thanks and have a great day.